Macmillan Audio presents Dreamland by Alyson Noël. Read for you by Kathleen McInerney. Soul Catcher, one who catches the lost souls that haunt the earth plane by coaxing and convincing them to cross the bridge to the here and now. There is nothing to fear but fear itself. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Chapter 1. The second I laid eyes on Aurora, my shoulders slumped, my face unsquinched, and I heaved a deep sigh of relief, knowing I had an ally, a friend on my side. I was sure it would all be okay. It was in the way her hair shimmered and shone, transforming from yellow to brown to black to red before starting the sequence all over again. Her skin did the same, converting from the palest white to the darkest ebony and every possible hue in between. And her gown, her gorgeous yellow gown, sparkled and gleamed and swished at her feet like a crush of fallen stars. Even though I no longer mistook her for an angel like I did the first time I saw her, still, the whole glistening sight calmed me in a major way. But, as it turns out, I'd misread the whole thing. As soon as I took one look at her aura, as soon as I noted the way its usual bright popping purple had dimmed to a much duller violet, well, that's when I knew we were on opposite sides. It was just like Bodhi had said. I had a heck of a lot to explain. My last soul catch hadn't exactly been assigned. I stared at my feet, head hanging in shame, scraggly blonde hair hanging limply before me, as I forced myself to shuffle behind him. Using those last remaining moments to run a frantic search through my best, most plausible excuses, mentally rehearsing my story again and again, like a panicky actor on opening night. Even though I'd only been doing my job as a soul catcher when I coaxed and convinced a whole lot of ghosts to cross the bridge to where they belonged, there was no denying the fact that I'd been told to look the other way, to mind my own business, to not get involved by sticking my semi-stubby nose in places where it most certainly didn't belong. But did I listen? Not exactly. Instead, I charged full speed ahead into a whole heap of trouble. I followed Bodhi to the stage, his back so stiff and his hands so clenched I was glad I couldn't see his face. Though, if I had to guess, I'd be willing to bet that his mouth, free of the straw he usually chomped when the council wasn't around, was pinched into a thin, grim line, while his green eyes, heavily shadowed by his insanely thick fringe of lashes, were sparking and flaring as he thought of ways to rid himself of me once and for all. I peered under my bangs, watching as Aurora took her place next to Claude, who sat next to Samson, who was right beside Celia, who was so tiny and petite she was able to share an armrest with Royce, without either one of them having to compromise or fight for equal space. And seeing them all assembled like that, waiting to hear just how I might go about explaining myself, well, that's when I remembered the most important evidence of all, the one undeniable thing that required no verbal explanation, as it was right there, smack dab in the front and center, visible for all to see. I had my glow on. Actually, scratch that. It wasn't just my usual glow. It was far more impressive than that. As a reward for all I'd accomplished, my glow had significantly deepened, going from what started out as a barely there pale green shimmer straight into a somewhat deeper green shimmer. Okay, maybe the change wasn't all that drastic, but the thing is, what it lacked in drama, it made up.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?